Available, gosh, a good 10 years ago at least in Japan. Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I wanted to share with you guys one of my other collections of the Coca-Cola bottle cap figures. These were available, gosh, a good 10 years ago at least in Japan. You buy a Coke and there would be one of these little like bags on the outside that had a little like loop in it, so it'd be on top of it. And I have all these kind of sealed up here because this was like a bag for every figure that I had. This is the second in the series, and it has a ridiculous number of 48 figures to collect. It's so many and so hard. And as you can tell, this is to commemorate both Final Fantasy VII, 8, and 9. So there's characters from all three games. This particular version has all the figures and then everybody in crystal form too. So you get quite a lot of figures for your money. If you wanted to look at it in a simple way, there's only 24 characters though then, because of the way things work out. In this particular version, there's only the normal way the figure. There's no deforme character or a chibi character at all. So this is just the figure that you're looking at. And then the crystal version as well. So this is the crystal version here. And you can see how they're just exactly the same as each other. And same details. The crystal version does have a tendency to kind of get a slight stickiness to it just because I live in a humid climate. I kept things sealed though in storage, but getting them out did show that. The number on the bottom here, you can see this is Cloud Strife and he's number 1. And the crystal version just says Cloud and then Crystal. That could be tricky because in terms of length, they're almost exactly the same, because they do have the full name. So that can be a little hard to tell sometimes which one you're getting. But somebody like him here with his signature sword is pretty easy to recognize. These figures, this collection is always so beautiful because the artwork on them is so nice. You can see how good and detailed you get. All of the face and the costumes and the armor and weaponry are all really detailed. So that's Cloud Strife there for you. Number 2 is Aerith Gainsborough. I don't even know if I remember all their last names for sure. It's kind of funny how it's all there. So there she is. And unfortunately her stick gets a little bent because of the way it's been in the bag. Number 3 is Sephiroth. And he has this cool hair and his cool sword. That one was pretty recognizable because the sword does go across his body. And then the 4th one is Tifa Lockhart. And she has pretty identifiable hair. Makes her pretty easy to notice. And then number 5 was Barrett Wallace. He's a big guy, so he's pretty easy to recognize. There's a couple other characters that are pretty big that you could mislead and think are wrong, but I think he's pretty easy to recognize. This little tattoo here. Then number 6 is Yuffie. She's got the cool weapon there, so I think she's pretty easy to recognize for that. And then number 7 is Vincent Valentine. And he's got his cool gun there, and you can usually tell too because of his clawed fingernails there, and then his cape. That's a pretty big giveaway. And then of course you've got to have Red 13 here. He's so cute. Looks very awesome. He's pretty easy to tell because of what he is, I think. Not too hard to find. Number 9 is Squall. And he's got, his identifiable sword there. And no funky hair, no sharpness to his hair at all. So that makes him a little easier to recognize. Cool stuff on the back with his belts and stuff. And then, of course, you have Rinoa. Number 10 is her. Get focused on her face there better. And I think it's hard because these are so small that it's pretty tricky to get a good, really good face paint for these. But they do tend to look pretty good. And then we have Cypher. Number 11 is him. He looks pretty cool. So his sword goes to the right as opposed to other people's whose goes to the left side and straight down like clouds. And then we have number 12, which is Laguna. And he's got, you know, a weapon pointing up, which gives him some easy thing to identify. And his cool pants are a little identifiable that way. And then for number 13, we have Christus. And she looks like this. She's skinny and doesn't really have any weapon that you can see so easily because she's hiding it behind her back. I can't get her to focus on her. Hold on. Maybe I need to get these guys out of the way so you can see a little better. There we go. But I think she might be a little easy to, you know, confuse with, you know, with good old Renoa. It's a little easy to get them confused because they both have a similar silhouette. Can be tricky. We have Zell here with his cool spiky hair. And he's wearing shorts, which kind of gives him away a little bit. If you use that as an identifier, you can kind of find him a little easier. And then we have Selfie, and she is usually pretty easy to find because she has the sticks, so you can kind of get her pretty easily, but she was actually pretty hard to locate. I think of the ones that were hard, there's always somebody that's really hard to find. We had a hard time finding her. Then we have number 16, which is Irvine, and he has that good hat, which sometimes can be a little tricky compared to, you know, hair and stuff. But he does have a gun, a longer gun that's on the side. And a little easier to spot maybe. And then for number 17, we have Zidane. He has a tail. So you'd think that would make it a little easier, but sometimes that can make it hard. A tail and the weapon, which actually could be kind of confused for her two sticks in some ways. So you gotta be careful of that one. And then for number 18, we have Garnet. Oops, where did she go? Here we are. And she's pretty easy to see, I think, because of her weapon and stuff and her stature. She's a little shorter. And then for number 19 is Vivi. And he's, you know, shorter, and he has his hat and his cool stick, so you're pretty much guaranteed to know it's him. It's just, you know, his name and finding the difference between him and a crystal one could be very tricky. We also have number 20, which is Edward Steiner. So he's cool with his cute little face. I love these characters. They're so funny looking. But, you know, some characteristics there that make him a little easy to find. And then, of course, Kuina Quinn. That crazy guy. That's not too hard, you know, especially with the weapon there, the fork. That's pretty easy. And then, of course, we have Freyja Crescent. Nice detail on that. Because it's a little more fantastical, and so it's easier, I think, to kind of really showcase how cool stuff is there. The weapon is so nice, too. Very cool pattern and design for that. And then for number 23, we have Salamander Corral. Again, some really cool design work and stuff. The claw is a huge giveaway when you're trying to find it inside a package. To have those three there is pretty good. And then the last one is 24, Echo Carol. And she's so cute. And her real big key point is this little horn on the top of her head. So if you can find that, you're usually good to go you know it's her. But like I said, these are all the 24, and then there's the crystal version of all of them too, and that's how you get a total of 48. But lots of characters to enjoy from 3 of the major games that were part of this whole thing, kind of leaning up to the release of Final Fantasy X and kind of showcasing some of the different characters from previous games. So kind of cool to get all these for sure. So if you're a fan, that's going to be a kind of a fun collection to get your hands on. And I'll also be sharing with you guys part 3 too. So look for that. And yeah, I'll have some more fun things to share with you guys in the days to come. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.